Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via, and I'm currently serving 1,214 years in Red Onion State Prison in the state of Virginia in the United States of America. This is my podcast, Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoy listening to me. Today, I have a good prison story for you. Or, better yet, it's a prison dare. And it's one of those things that we do in prison from time to time to laugh, to have fun, to joke around. You know, it's just something we do to amuse ourselves. Unfortunately, I'm the dumbass in this story. And this took place, if I remember correctly, this took place in 2015. I was in the same pod I was in, D6, here at Red Onion, that I did the documentary at. Well, the documentary was filmed solitary, look inside Red Onion State Prison. Typical morning, you know, right after breakfast, the CEOs come. You get dressed, after they shake you down at the door to make sure you don't have any contraband on you or anything like that, weapons or what have you. And then you back up to the door. They handcuff you behind your back. And then you get on your knees when the door opens, and they shackle you and they walk you out to the secure chair. And the secure chair is similar to a stool with a table in front of you. And it's all welded together and it's bolted to the floor. And it's got this lever in the front of it that when you take the padlock out, you pull the lever back, it opens a pin. And you got to put your shackles down in that little hole there, and then he pushes the lever up, which locks the shackle chain in place, which you have a little bit of movement, but not very much. And then he padlocks the lever shut so you cannot get up and get out of it. So I'm there, and Frank is beside me on my right. And then there's another guy named Murder who was pretty cool dude. I like that dude. I've talked about him a little bit before on here. He was sitting beside me to my left. And then you had a Muslim dude named Hamza sitting beside him. And for the life of me, I cannot remember the fifth person. I don't know who that was. But we was there, you know, we'd been working for a while, and we would roll sporks. Now, what spork rolling is we sit there and we take napkins, and we lay a napkin out, we put a spork in it with one salt and one pepper, and then we roll the napkin up and we twist it. And then we have a box with a trash bag beside us to throw the completed sporks in. Now, that's for when, you know, they'll take them to the kitchen and put them on the trays. So, you know, guys have something to eat with and a little bit of salt and pepper to season your trays with. Now, so we're sitting there rolling and, you know, talking, laughing and joking, and that's, I mean, you know, this is in solitary. You know, we was in SAG at the time, but it was sort of like kind of like a step down almost. It was the SAG with a few extra privileges in it. And that's one of the reasons why we got to go out and work, just so that we can kind of spend time around other inmates, because all of us in that pod had been kept in solitary year after year after year after year after year. And the state of Virginia finally started realizing when you keep a person in solitary for 8, 9, 10, 15 years, and they just put you straight into population, you wind up hurting someone because you don't know how to be around anybody no more. So they had to create sort of a pod where they can take us and still keep us in solitary, but give us a little bit of human contact. And that's why, you know, we're separated by a couple of feet from each other. You know, because we can sit there and talk and look at a person and, you know, kind of feel like we're part of a group a little bit instead of just talking to somebody through a vent and not being able to see them. And we talk about anything and everything out there. You know, that's just the way it goes. Now, I can't remember exactly what we was talking about because it was so many years ago. Usually me, Frank, and Murder used to talk about Family Guy and American Dad a lot. You know, we're always joking on the jokes, that Seth MacFarlane and them was coming up with. And they were funny shows, and, you know, we laughed and joked about that a lot. Talked about some books that we read, stuff of that nature. Well, I'm sitting there, and Frank said something to Murder. I can't remember what it was, but somehow we got on the topic of coffee. And I wasn't a real big coffee drinker, but Frank and Murder was. And Frank, that boy goes through some coffee, let me tell you. And he looked at me, he's like, you know what, man, I bet you could drink a whole bag of coffee. I'm like, yeah, that ain't ever going to happen. He said, no, come on. So that goes on, you know, back and forth a little bit. I'm like, man, I'm not drinking a whole damn bag of coffee, man. Matter of fact, yep, that's it. It just came back to me. It was talking about how long does a bag of coffee last him. You know, and Frank, a bag of coffee would only last him about half a week. You know, he's pretty much going through 2 bags a week. Murder would go through, I believe it was 1 bag a week. And I was like, well, a bag of coffee lasts me a month. And they both looked at me like I was stupid. Like, what? How is that possible? I'm like, dude, I only drink maybe 1 cup a day, and it's a small cup, and I don't drink it really, really strong. You know, and I have to put sugar in it. I can't drink it black. I have to put a lot of sugar in it. I just don't like bitter stuff. I can't handle it. And so that's when Frank started, I bet you can drink a whole bag of coffee at once. And I was like, nah, man, that ain't happening, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you can do it. And so they were laughing at me and everything, and they was calling me weak, and, you know, I was scared and this and that. And I'm like, whatever, man. I'm not a child, man. That don't work on me, dude. You can call me a pussy all you want to. I can care less. I know who I am. So they were laughing at me, and then I didn't have no money. I didn't have no money whatsoever at the time. You know, I just started getting paid. And, I was trying to save up for TV, and I was trying to have a little bit, extra for some suits, and I had to buy hygiene, and I was trying to save up to buy JP5. I mean, that's a lot of saving up, man, because that stuff is not cheap. I mean, everything in prison costs way more than it should. So Frank, I hate this dude, even though he is the only real friend I have in here. He said, I'll make you a dare. He said, I'll make you a bet. This is what's going to happen. You drink a whole bag of coffee. You got 10 minutes to drink it. And then you cannot throw it up for 1 hour. If you can hold it for 1 hour, I will give you $20. They said, if you fail, you don't owe me nothing. You don't have to give me anything. I will give you $20 a commissary next week if you can do it. Where they failed with my pride, they got me with my belly. I'm 42 years old, and of those 42 years, I've probably spent 37 of them going to bed hungry every single night, never having enough to eat. And that's a terrible feeling. So they got me. They broke my will down. He found my kryptonite. He found my Achilles heel. So I'm like, I bet. Now, the COs at the time were out there listening to all of this. And they was like, yeah, we want to see this. So they went up into Frank's cell and got a brand new bag of Keefy coffee, the yellow bag, which is stronger than the blue bag. They have 2 kinds. They went in my cell and got a cup. And they took it down in the closet, dumped the coffee in it, filled it up with hot water from the spigot. And they brought it to me, gave it to me. I took a spoon and I stuck it in it. And it just stood straight up. I mean, it was so thick. It was like drinking brownie batter. I might as well just spoon it up and ate it like a cake or like a pudding or something. It was, oh my God, it was thick and so bitter. Oh, the taste of it is coming back. So I stirred it up as best as I could, and I threw the the spork in the trash bag right there, and I drunk it. Oh, I mean, just from that first mouthful, I was wanting to gag and just throw it back up. I mean, it was, oh God, it was horrible. But I got it down in the 10 minutes allotted to me. I mean, and look, you know how they say, oh, well, just close your nose. That you won't taste it. That is a damn lie. You taste it, and it's horrible. I'm sitting there, I get it down, I'm like, all right, I'm good, I can do this. Oh, it's nasty, though. They're laughing at me like, they're looking at me like, man, we can't believe this damn idiot just drunk a whole bag of coffee at once. And I'm not going to lie, I was thinking the same damn thing. I really wanted that commissary. So, I was sitting there talking and laughing and, and I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. A couple minutes go by, and I am. I'm actually feeling pretty good. So I start rolling sporks. And, they go on to talking and everything, and the COs are there, and, they're kind of laughing and joining in and everything. And I start to feel it. I start rolling sporks a little bit faster. I'm starting to get a little jumpy, starting to get a little fidgety. Yeah, I'm starting to sweat a little bit. It's okay. I'm good, though. I can do this. And this is what I'm thinking to myself. And I'm not going to give Frank and them the satisfaction. I'll be damned. I'm going to get that $20 worth of commissary. I'm going to get the good stuff, too. And, I'm sitting there in my head, I'm making a commissary list. Like, I'm going to do this. I know I'm going to do this. I am not going to fail. Man, I will walk on broken glass for some damn food. I will not fail at some coffee. Time goes by, and it is dragging on. It is dragging on. I got Frank's watch, and it's being timed, and it's laying on the table in front of me, and I'm watching. I'm looking at it. About 20 minutes, 25 minutes in, I'm like, all right. I think it was about 20 minutes in. I look at Frank. I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling good. Now, I roll in sporks pretty fast. I mean, I'm filling that damn box up quick, fast in a hurry. But, I'm talking to him and everything, and I'm like, all right, man, I'm feeling good. I can do this. I got this. It's in the bag, buddy. 25 minutes go by. I'm not talking no more. I'm kind of quiet. I'm a little green around the gills. I'm struggling a little bit. My heart is just thundering in my chest. I'm sweating. I swear, I think my eyeballs are rattling around. I'm not feeling too good. 25 minutes with a whole bag of coffee in my belly. I'm like, I can do this. I'm like, I'm gritting. I'm flexing my chest and my shoulders and arms and back. I mean, I'm doing everything I can to keep it from coming back up. I want that commissary. Yeah, it's only going to last me for a week, but I want that $20 worth of commissary. Unfortunately, by the 30-minute mark, I can't. I'm sorry. I tried. I gave it my all. I let my belly down. Or my belly let me down, whichever one way you look at it. Whichever way you want to look at it. Sorry about that. I'm a little tongue-tied tonight. But this is the crazy thing. I start throwing up. I can't help it. I have no choice. But my body is rejecting it so hard. It wants it out of me so bad. And, I mean, it's just gushing out. It's not only coming out of my mouth. It's literally coming out of both nostrils. It's like two jet streams coming out. I'm not exaggerating. I wish I knew what day this was and I could somehow get a copy of the security camera just so I could put it on the web to show y'all. Oh, dude, I mean, I have never thrown up so hard in my life. And they're laughing at me. This is the crazy thing, though. As soon as I start to throw up, you got a female comes to the front of the pod and wants to come in the pod, so I have to stop throwing up. I have to hold it in my mouth. I have to pinch my nose shut because obviously I don't want to get tore off. I don't want the COs getting in trouble for going in the cell, and I don't want Frank getting in trouble and the rest of them for being a part of it and everything. And quite frankly, I don't want to get in trouble myself. So she comes in, I'm sitting there holding it, and she goes into the office with the COs. I start throwing back up. And then after a moment, I kind of get it under control a little bit, and I sit up, and I am in terrible, terrible shape. And so I'm sitting there, and then a couple minutes later, I start throwing up again. By this time, the COs come out the office, and the female, whoever she was, stayed in the office, and she gets on the computer in the office and starts doing something. I turn around, and I straight cuss at the COs, man, you mother better get over here and put me back in the cell right now, blah, blah, blah. And I don't cuss. Normally, I'll start to cuss and then I'll catch myself, especially when I get a little hyped up, a little amped. But I do my best not to do it because it's a very nasty habit and I don't like it. It's not something I want to do. It's horrible. So they get me back into the cell, Barry, and I'm dragging them in shackles and handcuffs back to the cell. They get the shackles and cuffs off of me, and I'm sitting on a toilet. I have the worst diarrhea I've ever had, and I'm throwing up between my legs. Forgive me for being so crude. I'm sorry, but that's what happened. So, after I clean myself up and everything, I go and lay in the bed. Now, Frank had actually let me borrow his little JP4 at the time, so I could listen to some music and whatnot. Like I said, at that time I didn't have anything. And I didn't listen to a single song on there. I was so messed up. I laid in the bed. I was miserable. I couldn't do anything. And if you know what a tuning fork is, it's sort of like a pitchfork without the tines in the middle, and you tap it on something, it burns, and it vibrates and it rings. My nerves were vibrating so hard. I'm not exaggerating. I could hear it. My nerves were humming. I was so messed up on caffeine. That was terrible. I did nothing but lay in the bed. And then Frank comes back to the cell, and he's in the cell over top of me. So he climbs up on the top vent laughing and says, "Hey, man, you want a cup of coffee?" I run to the toilet and start throwing up again. And there's nothing in my stomach to throw up, but I'm still throwing up just because that bastard. Oh, I hate him. He still owes me $10, so I'm going to make him pay me that $10. I held it for 30 minutes. I'm getting half of it. But it was, do not do this at home. Trust me. This is not one of those challenges you want to take on. Don't do it. I almost died from that.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Those are some of the dumbass dares and stuff that we do in prison. Just to pass the time. Try to earn a few bucks. Because you can or you want to. Regardless of your reasons. Unfortunately, a lot of times, we do some dumbass pranks on people. And Frank got me good. I had to give it to him. He got me really good on that. This has been Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoyed listening to me make an ass out of myself. Don't do that at home. Don't forget to check out my website, redonionrandy.com. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you for using GTL.